Welcome to Dunbar Harbour, here on the east coast of Scotland. The noise you can hear in the background is the swimming pool, and then down here is a wee path down to the old castle. I'd like to give you a wee tour and also talk a little bit about our relationships with pets, our connections with pets. Wow, I didn't know this existed down here. There's some wee garages down here, some wee stores, and then there's a wee bay, like a little harbour down here. Wow, so cool. So once upon a time there was an archway across these two. So it's a natural rock formation, and then you can see on the top the castle walls. And the big sticky up bit, that is the old chimney stack that's remained for a very long time. We go down here, Patch. You can't get into the... No, Patch is pulling me down. Try not to slip. You can't get into the harbour itself, but this is pretty close. Really beautiful. And look, there's a wee boat coming in. You can just catch a glimpse of it there. It's called Helix. Lovely, just like a DNA. So I thought I'd share a little bit about my knowings and understandings about our relationships with our pets as I give you a tour around this beautiful harbour. Wow, look at this. And at a very human level, if you have a dog, cat, or any other pets, I do feel that we form very beautiful, strong bonds with them. It's like Patch, the Papillon here. There, to me, I grew up with dogs in our family, and so that was wonderful. I always felt very close and very loved and supported and safe. Switch your feet here, Patch. And it's still a working harbour here. As you can see, there is there's fishing and lobster pots, and there's some places where you can eat down here as well. And I feel with our pets, interchanging between pets and dogs, no, pets and harbours, I do feel that we, on our journey with our pets, that they get really good at feeling into detecting how we're feeling. Come on, buddy. Come on. Sometimes they, pets know us better than we know ourselves. This way, Patch. And I do feel that when I'm stressed or anxious, that definitely Patch feels it too. Let's show you some of these harbour boats down here. So there's May Queen. My guess is, given this large crane at the back, oh, there's a seagull. Hello, Mr. Seagull. There's a large winch at the back, that must be a fishing net. Ooh, it's going up and down a lot in the swell. Wow. And I'll try and keep Patch away from these lobster pots because he tends to wee on them, and if you do like eating lobster, you don't really want dog wee on them. So there's some of the lobster pots just there. Is the camera showing it? Yeah, it is. They put a little bait inside, and then the lobsters go inside and eat the bait, and they get trapped, and then they bring them up to the surface. Come on, Patch, I can't let you wee on those. So our pets definitely detect when we're feeling stressed. Now, some pets, and I don't feel necessarily that it's every single pet in the universe does this, but some pets, I do feel Patch does this, they'll often take on our stress and our burden, and that means it means like the energy of stress and anxiety they have the ability, especially when they're in our auric field, to be able to come on, Patch, he's pulling the whole time, he wants to stop and sniff. You can stop and sniff here, and sometimes we'll see seals here as well. Yeah, sometimes what happens is our pets will take on the burden of the stress and anxiety from us. And I feel the happy version of that is that they then are able to release it into the earth. So for instance, in a dog walk, maybe not so much a harbour walk, but maybe in the woods or grass or fields or beach, they're able to to release the energy. Patchy, what are you doing? This way. Maybe they're able to release the energy that way back into the earth, and to release it from them. And here we have some more of the lobster pots. And over here is the old harbour, just straight ahead of us, the Victoria Harbour. And there's this old bridge here, which I think it only takes something like 3 tons, but it's one of these lifting bridges, so it lifts right up. Because I'd love to drive our motorhome across it, but our motorhome is too heavy. Speaking of driving across it, there's a car coming back, so I'll try not to get run over by it. That would suck. And maybe you'll ask me to share the previous 2 times I've been knocked down. That would be when I was a child. It was pretty rough. I was very lucky each time though. Yeah, so the happy path with our pets is that they are able to release the energy into the ground from their often little bodies. You know, many of our pets are smaller than us humans. And I feel that sometimes that doesn't always work. It doesn't always work so well. And that energy gets trapped. And it's similar for us, or for us humans, right? Or perhaps the volume at which we're like constantly sending it to our kids, well, maybe our kids, but certainly our pets, that they're unable to cope with that it's too much. So the reason I know about this was not through my experience with Patch, who's enjoying the little walk down here. No, it was actually through doing client sessions, and in particular live streams with on YouTube, that really helped open up my awareness to this. So what I began to find is that these live streams that I do with Viviane Heller, that we began to experience, doing quantum energy scanning for our subscribers, our clients' pets, And we begin to find, for example, in a cat or dog, similar patterns that, you know, we would see in a human. So, you know, lack of abundance, lack of self-worth, lack of self-trust may be shown as a tightening of the solar plexus chakra. May also manifest in issues with the stomach, digestive system, and surrounding organs and area. This is a beautiful entrance. It's a very calm day for the entrance to the harbour. So yeah, what we'd find is when we energy scan people's pets is that they would also manifest similar issues that we'd expect to see within a human. Where are you going, Patch? Speaking of pets, you're sniffing around on Patch Patrol. Yeah, so we would do, or you know, we do, and we still offer this. In fact, we're live tomorrow on Monday on YouTube, and we always ask that people get the consent of their pets first. You go and talk to your pet and say hello and ask, is it okay if Jon and Viviane enter your energy and provide a clearing, you know, healing. And beyond just the chakras of the body, we'd also, of the pet, we'd also go in and assist with the physical body. And I feel also, you know, understanding a bit more about the actions that we can take, like what are the behaviors that led to this. And this is the entrance, so this is the other side of the wall from where we started. Just beautifully here. I hope one day they reopen the castle. That'd be so cool. Yeah, sometimes when you get the wind coming down from the west, which is behind me, and a boat's trying to make it in through this entrance, and they have to go in to the side, there's a slight turn, but also the waves kind of push boats either, you know, if you have a boat and there's waves behind you, you get pushed to one side or the other. And that's very much what happens. And fortunately, quite a few boats have sunk here. Wow, look at this swell going up and down here. That is so cool. I hope it shows up on camera. I don't know if the zoom works. Oh, I need to change the setting. It goes up and down. Well, that's good to know. All right, let's head back. We'll just head down this here. It sounds like it was on the boat about to come out. The lessons that we can learn from our pets are vast and many. The first is just observing the beautiful, unconditional, you know, unconditional love and self-sacrificial love. You know, sometimes you see phrases or sayings where people say things like, you know, the love of an animal is, you know, the only being that will love you more than themselves, or give love to you freely, you know, unconditionally, you know, much more than they do themselves, which is just fantastic. Very cool. There's some people just following a diver down there. There's a German U-boat sunk just out past, I think it's even swimmable out from the entrance of the harbour. And then there's also something called Dead Man's Fingers, which is these, I think they're kind of urchins that are on the harbour entrance walls underwater. Very cool. Yeah, so some of the actions and well, first of all, lessons that we can learn from our pets is this awareness, first of all. And you know, this might be quite a long video, and I hope you're enjoying the views as much as I am and the walk as much as I am. Yet really, so much in our lives is just as simple as awareness, having conscious awareness. I think I'm going to head up here, give you a bit of a view up here because it looks stunning up here. These steps, there's a life ring. Yeah, if we head up here, we'll be able to see right out over the coast. Let's take a look. Wow. Oh, Patch. Check this out. Oh, I could just listen to this all day. So yeah, conscious awareness. Being consciously aware that the energy that we feel, that we hold within us and that we harbour, has the potential of being passed on to others. It reminds me of other phrases, such as, you know, we hurt the ones we love the most. Not a fan of that phrase for obvious reasons. But yeah, it is not, it's not unforgivable, right? Wow, look at this. It says in 1988, on the 11th of November, 1918, World War I ended. Operation ZZ came 10 days later. The Germans' mighty naval fleet surrendered, just visible from Dunbar off the Isle of May. And the Isle of May is actually really hard to see. Oh, it's directly straight. Can you see my hand? Yeah, it's directly straight there. You won't be able to see it on camera. And it says, Germany had agreed to hand its ships over before proceeding to Scapa Flow in Orkney. On the 21st, while it was still dark, the Royal Navy's Grand Fleet set sail on the Firth of Forth, joined by 5 American battleships and 3 French warships. More than 150 cruisers and destroyers joined them for a final rendezvous with their enemy. Wow, just huge fleets. And Germany would deliver her warships into British hands without a shot being fired. Wow, incredible. I'm not going to walk all the way along here because you get stuck and you have to just go back, but I will just take a wee look up here. There have been killer whales spotted here, and I've seen dolphins and porpoise and seals, and not sure I've seen them directly here, but I have seen minke whale and basking shark. And way out in the North Sea, I've seen humpback whales. So very rarely do you get them down here. Just stunning. The seagulls are very tame here. Right, let's turn around, Patch. This way, buddy. Yeah, so that's the first action we can take, is, you know, consciously being aware of our own energy, like we hold on to and stick on to. So this includes, you know, stress and anxiety. And I feel in particular, this is what I do, I don't know about you as a human, if I'm stressed and anxious, I'm often sat still. I'm often, you know, just on the sofa for hours, kind of almost like frozen and a little bit like wallowing in that energy, that emotion. And I feel that when I'm stressed and I'm sat there and Patch, for example, jumps up next to me, sometimes what happens is he will sit with me for a little bit and I'll stroke his back, and he loves it. Like, he loves sitting, especially sat between my wife and I on the sofa. Like, he just loves that so much. And so what can happen is he can sit with us for a few minutes and then sometimes he jumps down. And it's in those moments I'll be thinking, he loves sitting with us. I wonder why he'd feel uncomfortable. And I realised when I reflect in the moment about how I've been feeling, perhaps I've been feeling stressed, and either myself and or my wife have just been like transferring some of that unintentionally, that energy, onto him. So that can be a real moment of pause, no pun intended. And it really makes me reflect then on, okay, what can we do to, you know, ideally prevent, but let's start first of all with how can we help our pets, release that energy that doesn't serve the highest good, not hang on to it. And one way of doing that is I'll stroke Patch from his head to his tail, and I'll just say to him, I just say out loud, I say, Patch, you can release anything that doesn't serve your highest good. You can release it now. Wow, look at that sun. Behind a cloud, everything's very dramatic with the sky just now. So yeah, I'll say to him, you can release anything that doesn't serve your highest good now. You can release it into the earth, and I imagine from his tail, like the end of his tail, from his root chakra, just releasing that deep down into the earth. And I feel he will respond, he will do that a little bit, and at very least I'm giving him permission to do that. And there are some other simple things we can do. So one of the first things I'll do is I never just go and grab Patch and hug him, because I wouldn't do that with any human. At least even with those that I'm most, with loved ones, I'll always gesture first, like with open arms. And if it's not a clear signal, like they don't immediately open up their arms, I will just stop and ask, say, would you like a hug? And this can be really powerful. It's the same for our pets. There's a little fish down here. I don't know if you guys can see them. Tiny, teeny ones. Yeah, in those moments, I just ask and I say, Patch would like to come up. Would you like a cuddle? Would you like to be stroked? And just see what his reaction is. I feel that's so important, because it means that we're not just dumping, like forcefully going up to our pet and just dumping the energy on them. Here we are up in the barracks, and it's very, very cool. So some boats just over there. Don't know if you guys can see them. They're showing up on camera. They're very small and tiny, straight ahead. Yeah, so we can ask our pets permission. We can give them permission to release anything that they've, ambiently absorbed from us or directly absorbed from us. We can also, really ask our pets what is it they want. If they're showing signs of stress, anxiety, if they're experiencing medical issues, talk to our vet about the things that are going on in our lives as well, not just, Patch has got, a sore tummy, like, share, well, maybe he's picking up on, what I previously had, where I was stressed and anxious about my own abundance before I left my corporate job. So yeah, there's all these aspects, and check this out, these are so cool, these blocks. I love these blocks. And we can also ask our pets, like, what is it they'd like to do, where would they like to go for a walk next, how would they like exercised, what are they worried about or stressed about. I just, wait for those moments where it feels right to chat to Patch. And just say it out loud. I don't feel you need to be psychic. We psychically form very strong bonds with our pets. So we don't need a training course or a qualification to get us started. It's just beautiful here. So cool. We will need to go, Patch, because I need to get back and get dinner. And I need to go and run an in-person event. We used to live right down here. We lived in many houses, but straight ahead, I don't know if you can see my hand, but I can't really see the viewfinder very well. The Patch has run off. Come back, Patch. Yeah, we used to live right down at the sea, and wow, there's like quite big waves there. I'm sure I measured it, and our house was technically 1 meter above sea level. And I didn't realize when we moved in that the sea level can change dramatically. Even in, you can get a storm surge, for example, and a storm can push up the sea level by, just an average storm, right? Can go up by another meter at least, plus another meter and a half for spring tides. When you're around the equinoxes, you also experience that. So if you get a storm during one of those as well, you get a lot of extra height, and that was really fascinating. Sometimes we had fish turn up in the garden. Sometimes we had storms with the waves splashing over the roof. So yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, it's stunning here. And we really better head back, Patch, so that we get back in time. I'm telling him because I feel it's important to talk. I just talk to Patch like he's a human. In part because he loves to stop. So like, okay, now we're walking. You've stopped and sniffed a lot, which is a lot of fun, I'm sure. So I wanted to share about someone I know that can help you even more. And in many respects, I would love this video to be an advert for her. And chances are you know her already. Her name is Viviane Heller, and she does, she joins me on live streams on Mondays and Thursdays. And what she does is really the same work as me: quantum psychic, Akashic, energy healing, clearing, readings. And her speciality, one of her superpowers, is doing pet healing, which is the topic of today's video. And what's cool about that is that Viviane has a service where you can visit her website. I'll put the link into this video, and if I haven't, please ask. You can, and I will remind me, and I'll put it I'll pin a comment with it. I highly recommend Viviane, and I'm seriously considering a session with her for Patch because he, as he gets older, he's 13 now, as he gets older, he finds it harder to cope with any stress and anxiety, and especially my wife and I feel, and there's this rising excitement and anticipation that my wife are experiencing, which is the excitement about buying a motorhome. And I feel that it's not that he's wrong, right? That it's like, oh, you shouldn't be stressed. It's not so much that. It's more that he's just, I feel some of it, it's just like a lot. It's a lot to go through. And it's a lot for him to process, and we're super excited. And also there's been, with our kids, there's been my wife also works at school. There's this aspect of them returning to school, like kind of back to work, like fear. And I feel that he find it harder to cope with some of that. Even in other words, even smaller levels of stress or anxiety he finds harder. So yeah, if you're wondering what's going on in your pet, in their mind, in their heart, perhaps you'd consider booking a session with her. You can see her Mondays and Thursdays on my live streams. We'll be live tomorrow. And although I also do pet healing, I feel that it's a really beautiful speciality. And pets can be any kind of animal, right? They can be You know, it can be a horse, or a dog, or cat, or really anything that we have close, or chicken, fish, whatever close contact we have. And I suspect, I would never want to make any claims on behalf of Viviane or any others, but I suspect that you'll likely get to the root causes quicker than your pet psychologist or vet, because you're able to connect with your pet, and also your higher self and guides. So yeah, perhaps you'd like to check out Viviane's website, come along and see her at one of our live streams. Maybe ask for a request, like many people do, about your pet, and see if you're interested in booking her in. Wow, I don't know if you can tell, this is an extremely steep, look at this, steep hill we just walked up. And here's our van. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tour, it was a lot of fun. We're gonna head in now, head home, get dinner, and go to an event. All right, take care, sending love.